swing weights, new scores, new shafts, and a bit more on golf talk again. Let's see what else we have in store and what's in my drawers golf talk. Welcome back to McGolf. Jim McCleary here, and this is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. And why is it What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers, club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and we always talk about what's in the spaces in the shop, and that's it's gone and it's expanded into basically a worldwide discussion on golf gear, and that's the cool part about it, right? That's what we're here for. That's what we want to talk about. So, as we do at the beginning of each one of these, I'm going to kind of step into the scores first, right? The scores here. We're going to get into the Shriners. Of course, we know Sunjay M. He won, shooting a -9. Come on, he just went crazy low. And the guy that was giving him all the trouble, Sam Burns, went +1. So I don't understand all that. And if we go and we always give a little nod to the guy that just finished above the cut, and that was Bill Haas, right? Bill Haas. Now, there was some other really cool stuff out there. Pardon me. The Open España, right? We saw that Rafa Cabrera Bello, he came in first over another Spaniard. And everybody thought John Rahm was going to be the man, but apparently that didn't happen. And then in the LPGA was Jin Young Ko. Apparently she's just going crazy at it. And last but not least, on the senior tour, if Furyks and friends, Phil Mickelson shot a -4 to go -15 over Miguel Angel Jimenez at -13, and he also shot a -4. So the dude, every time he shows up, he wins. So that's saying something. So there you go with that one. As far as we talk about what we did in the shop. We're doing this. This is kind of cool. This is a repeat. We have it is the Mizuno JPX 921 forged. The forged is just the one before the Pro. And we had these in the shop and put some other shafts in by request. And now we're putting in those by request. So it goes from that. And I have to say the ferrule looks way better on this guy. And we're putting in the KBS in there. And then dig on the purple grip. The purple Golf Pride grip. I think it kind of goes, right? He's supporting a school. And it's got a really nice tack. Very well done. So, Phil, if you're seeing this, they're all done. Robin's putting them together so that, they'll go in the mail tomorrow. Okay. I have another set of Mizunos, some left-handed MP20s that I'm not sure how or where they came about, but I'm taking them apart and I'm putting them back together. And we're doing that. We've also put out a bunch of clubs, but we've had a lot of fittings, and I didn't get a chance to put this in as a picture, but let me show you this guy. There we go. This came in a guy's bag. Let's see if I can show you. Make it come out. There we go. Right there. That came in a guy's bag. That was like a 7-wood wood. That's what that guy was. Oh my goodness. That was crazy. And so that was pretty neat. And then to report a score, since I'm going to beat Matt to the punch, I actually had my first subpar round on the front nine. On the front nine. Shot a 35. Could have been a 34, but shot a 35. Everything was just going my way, and then the wheels totally came off, but I still shot a 44 on the back. And it wasn't because the putting was very good this time around. I normally am crying and complaining about my putting, My putting was very, very good this time around, and there were putts that I was putting for birdie. In fact, I was putting for birdie on quite a few of the holes. Oh, sorry. And they just wouldn't go on the back. It was just like everything got slower. And second shots didn't land on the green like I did in the beginning. Yeah, just a bunch of whatevers. But I wanted to show you this one. This one, I like this one here. This was the number one hole. I'm here with my dad. There we go. There's me with my dad. And right in the back, you can see back in here, that's the green. And the green falls about 2 stories down. And it goes out about 280 yards, benders to the right, you're on the top, and then you got to hit another one over there. Still broke 80 with a subpar round, and playing from the blue tees instead of the whites. So much happier time frame for sure. Alrighty, topic. Pardon me. 2 topics. I was listening to XM radio, and it was called Moment of Impact. And Moment of Impact had Chris Vauchal, who is one of the designers for Mizuno, and another fella. And I don't even know, I can't tell you who the other fella was. And they were going to talk about fittings and things like that. And I've heard that done before, and they do. And there's some watered down stuff out there, go get fit. And that's pretty much the basis of the whole half an hour to an hour that you listen to. And these guys actually got into some topics, and I thought, wow, listen, these guys are. In fact, I think what happened is Chris got a little too heady for some of the folks, and he might have lost a few. But it was a good topic, and he was talking about swing weight and the other weights, and he called them not total weight, but the overall weight, I think is what he was talking about. And again, and this will be short because I want to get to something else. It was actually a good little program. It wasn't very dynamic, but the stuff they were talking about was very, very good. And swing weighting is something that is a mark of consistency, right? A mark of consistency. A lot of times I will get golfers asking me, "Oh, I must have a D2 swing weight." Okay, well, how heavy do you want it to be? Well, I just need it to be D2. Well, no, you don't, because I can give you a telephone pole and put a cement grip on the back of it and put a head on it that is the size of a dump truck, and it'll be a D2 swing weight. And you can't bring that around, right? And just the opposite can be true. I can put a drumstick together and put a feather-like grip on it and something that is totally, light on the head, and that's D2 as well. So you have to be very, very cognizant of the total weight of these items, right? And those are found out in a fitting, right? And this part I will agree, they're found out in a fitting. They are, the fitter will watch your swing, they will watch your tempo, they will watch how you're releasing, how you're taking it back. All these things come into play in determining the type of weight so that you have a feel for the club, right? And so that, a lot of the times, and this is one that it's not swing related per se, but when you take the club back and you go, oh, there it is, that is part of total weight with swing weight, because you feel the head. Not necessarily. It's where it's feeling it here, and that's what transmits the feeling in there. And those are the things that you test, right? And you start throwing heavier weights or heavier weight shafts, those kinds of things in there to see whether or not it impacts the way that you swing for the better or even for the worse. And that's what we really, really have to look at, okay? Really have to look at that kind of stuff. So that was my one topic, and now one review. And if you notice, I have, and for the rest of the month of October, I have Bones McGolf back there. He's backing me up, as you guys can see. He's sporting the apron, right, and sporting the hat. And I imagine if I reached into the pocket in the front, he's probably got a divot tool in there. So if you're interested in looking like Bones, or, well, not necessarily like Bones, but if you're looking like that, give us a email, mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, and Mrs. McGolf will be able to help you out, no problem. All right, this is new, and I really like this one, so give me a minute. A new shaft has become available to club makers, and club makers only, or professional club makers, as the case may be. And it's through True Temper / Acra. And what this is for the PFCs, professional fitting centers. Okay. And the professional fitting centers. And what have they made? They've made two shafts. One is, and they're called VRTX, the Vertex shaft, by Project X. Okay. Project X. Now they come in a red, and they come in a blue. All right, red and blue. Now the red launches the ball higher, spins a little bit more. Blue hits the ball a little bit lower, spins a little bit lower. That's the way it comes. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different shafts in this lineup. Okay. And yes, you can do a little bit of trimming, but what they have available. So in the red, right, in the red is they have a 40 gram, and they have an L flex and an A flex. And in 50 gram, they have an A flex and an R flex. And in 60 gram, they have an R flex and an S flex. So you see that overlay? So you have weights in the A flex can go from 40 to 50. And then the R flex can go from 50 to 60. And the S flex, you're going to be relegated to a 60 gram. Now, in the blue one, a little bit different. You're going to, in the 50 gram where it starts, you're going to have a regular and stiff. In the 60 gram, you're going to have a regular, a stiff, and an extra stiff. And then in the 70, you're going to have a stiff and an extra stiff. And that's the way they come. And so I have I did some testing. And that's what tomorrow's video is going to be about, is testing these shafts and how they came out. Now, the other cool part about it, and you'll see it again, I will talk about it yet again, is that these are built off of the Hazardous platform. So they have a very similar feel, a very similar build profile, right? And I will say, the two things that are going to be most important to all of us, right? How do they feel and what do they cost? And I hit anything from a regular in the red to an X in the blue, and I got to say they feel pretty good. And they worked just exactly the way that you would think that they were going to work, which is still, again, pretty good. And the price is certainly within most pocketbooks. I would say it's out as far as golf shafts have been going here as of late, I would say the cost is at the lower end instead of the higher end. How about that? Something that you don't need to cash in your Maserati in order to be able to put a golf shaft in your club. So very well, very, very worth the bang for the buck in this one is extraordinarily high. So take a good look at it next or tomorrow, and we'll go from there. All righty. So I'm off my soapbox. Let's go to the top and see who's here. Mr. Charles Bartholomew. 44 in the front, 37 in the back, buddy. Hey, I feel your pain on that one. So now, again on this one, Glenn Morangi they call it a Quinta Reuben, and it's a 14, and it starts out in an oak cask and ends up in a rum cask, and they call it a Highland. Now the funny part is, I know you can't see it, but I have ice cubes that are in the shape of skulls. I am taking this October thing way too far, but bit smoky, or not real bad, but it's a good Highlands. So if you like that one, you're good to go. All right. Big Al, hope you had a great weekend. Looking forward to tonight's live stream. Well, we did. We did have a great weekend. We had a fitting from a father and son, uh, and the dad can hit the ball very well, and it turns out the son hits the ball even better. That was pretty neat. And then we had another younger man in here, and he was doing good. And tomorrow I have a golfer coming up from South Carolina. That's a heck of a trip here, guys, and he's making it. So this ought to be good. All righty. What's in my drawers are you on now? What must you be approaching? Well, we were on the same page, Dave, because I was just looking because I found some videos. I was just going through my archive, and I'm well over 300. I like 370 in my regular videos, and in the live streams, I'm up to 88. 88. So we are getting close. I'm getting close. So, by the time Christmas comes around, we ought to be, or by the time I'm getting ready to go down to Florida, be there. Well, I think I went through most of them. The shafts were kind of the coolest part of it. I did. I don't think they have them out, but this Z grip without the cord in it, I'm kind of liking this thing. It stays sticky and doesn't. It's not real aggressive. All right. How much credence do you give to an iron shaft bend profile versus fitting a shaft for weight? Do you have an order of priority in the fitting decisions? Oh, so is it profile versus weight? Well, I guess in the fact that we were just talking about this stuff, I guess this is going to make a good topic. So when we're talking about irons, all right, I tend to, well, let's go back. In a lot of cases, you may not have a choice. All right, because the manufacturing methods only allow for certain profiles and certain weights. For instance, if you go into 90 grams, you'll find that the butt section is typically bigger around, and you have to go bigger around so you can make the walls thinner in order to drop the weight. The other part of that is that because the walls are thinner, the butt becomes more flexible. So and all of a sudden the 90 gram becomes or gets pigeonholed into a characteristic of, well, it's 90 grams and all the 90 grams hit high, right? And a lot of cases that thought process is not wrong. But now you're starting to see some other ones sneak in there. Pardon me, like the Elevate might be one that goes against the grain a little bit, and the Nippon, the 950 GH Neo tends to go against the grain a little bit in that category. So if you have a large enough stock or a large enough stable of shafts, then you can make that determination, meaning that I've got KBS and I've got Nippon right back here for sure, right, along with some Acra product, but that's mostly in graphite, and so those are three large amounts of shafts to go with. Now, I have access to all the rest of them, but I'm not nearly as knowledgeable on them as I am this stuff, and I will stay in that category. I tend to look at, and a lot of these nowadays, like back in here, you'll have 120, 125s, you'll have 105s, 115s, and then you'll have 95s in that kind of category of almost the same profile. So what it will be, if I'm looking at that, it will be weight first, profile second. If I'm looking for a particular trajectory, I will be profile first, weight second. So hopefully that helped. All right. What's the fewest small inventory you think you could use as a starter fitting set that would cover most golfers? Do you need every shaft and every flex? Is there a better way? Oh, wow. Well, as a starter fitting set, if you're looking for, so Dave, if you're looking for just fitting, right? You're not test it. So we'll call it two things. Fitting is the process in which to figure out what clubs that you need to get. Okay. So the process, in order to figure out the process, I think I've got mine whittled down about as small as you can possibly get. You know, we chase length first and foremost, right? Then we do the lying, and that's accomplished with just a handful of these over here. I'd probably say 15 or 20 clubs altogether. And that gets me my length, that gets me my lie angles, that'll get me my offset, because you don't have to have you can go with cause and effect, right? Meaning that if you've got a head that has a whole lot of offset and you know that they're pulling it and they're closing the club and they're hitting draws or pulls, that you don't need a whole lot of club. You don't need a club with a lot of offset. Okay. Now, if a guy looks like he's casting or throwing really hard, then you know that he's probably needing something that's a little lighter. And these are all things that take you into your next selection, which is all the rest of these guys. And again, I would go with you're kind of relegated to what's available, especially over there, what's available to what you can offer, right? And you can go from there. But I would look at, you know, and if you're going to fit into a particular club, into a particular set of irons, then certainly I would look at, I would consider 2 in an R, 2 in an S, 2 in an X, 2 in an A, and 2 in an L. And one at standard length and one an inch longer. And that way you have people that for the taller length, and there you go. And I would stay in that in a particular range. I would go with the 120s, the 110s or 115s, whatever the next model down is, and then the 95s. I wouldn't, in a lot of cases, you may not have to go much more than that, right? But certainly this is an investment, and I would certainly consider. I'd have to really think about this one, but I'm going to go with in irons. You're going to have a steel component and a graphite component, and you don't want the weights to overlap because they won't play the same. In the driver, you can get away with the 2 and 2, or actually you can get away with 1, but then you would want the separate flexes and a couple of weights. In irons, you can get away with the 2 and 2 because you're looking at weights and links at the same time. So it would be, I don't know. I thought there for a while, I thought I had the minimum, and now I'm expanding. So, and it's been 20 plus years. Now I've shifted manufacturers, but, well, let me look here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Just in one model, I've got 20 of the shafts plus another 6 or 7 of the graphite in that particular model. And that covers a lot. That will cover you a lot, right? And that's dual lengths, and that covers the spectrum. And then you have the separate heads, right? You don't see any heads hanging. All right. Well, Greg, anytime, buddy. Just call Mrs. McGolf and you'll be good to go. Here we go. Matt got some time in. He shot 71 and 66. Nice. Describe a repair that bothered you throughout the years. Hope all is well. A repair that bothered me throughout all the years. Well, you know, actually, it doesn't necessarily bother me. Well, I guess it doesn't bother me. You know, when you bother, I put like a negative connotation on it. And do I think it's negative? Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, she reminded me of one. And I still haven't done it. So here, my very worst. Okay, we're gonna go this way. Worst repair bothers me all the time, and I still haven't mastered it. Ping. Ping puts a ball bearing in the bottom of a shaft and fits it into the head. And there is very few ways of getting that damn thing out without doing some sort of destructive process to the head. There has been times where people have said, well, put it in the freezer and then you hurry up and heat it up on the outside and then it just pulls out, because there is also this myth out there that it's just pressed in and that you can pull it out. I still have a putter in the freezer and it's been in there for, I don't even want to tell you how long. And I keep forgetting about it. And I probably just put a grenade on it and just let it go. However, on other ones like Anzers and whatnot that have plumber's necks, you have to drill a hole up from underneath the plumber's neck and literally punch the ball out in order for you to be able to pull out the shaft. And then what you do is you cover it up on the bottom. I tend to cover it up with some epoxy, sand it flat, and if it's a silver one, I'll color it with my little chrome Sharpie that I've got in order to cover it up. Now, who sees that? Nobody, but it's just one of those things. And a mallet with an insert in it, it's a little harder because that insert wants to melt almost instantaneously. And that's the reason why I'm having issues. But that's the one, Matt. Thanks for asking, buddy. Yeah, he did. He does pretty good. Duke, what do we got here, buddy? Hope all is well. Got decent weather. 74, 75, 77. And we all hate winter, buddy. And you better strap it on, bud, because I hear it is coming. This is going to be a wet one. And get ready. And you're in that area that always gets snow anyway. So be prepared. Everything I've ever seen, the farmers are getting nervous. Everybody's just like, they're looking around. Here today, it was in the 80s and it was just gorgeous. Everybody's looking around going, we're going to pay for that one. And we are. So hopefully when we're talking here one day, I'll flick the camera that way and the snow will just be flying. Kurt Evans, what do you say, sir? I have some club work for you all to do for me probably next week. We'll be driving down for Columbus off of 23, and do I need an appointment? I will let Mrs. McGolf handle that. I'm sure she's already started talking with you on this one. We don't necessarily have an exit. We just have a street. Look at that. Oh, I was telling. Oh, I did have a 3-putt, but I had so many 1-putts it covered it up. Been having some beautiful fall weather. Yeah, you know what? Down in this neck of the woods, we're in tree-laden mountain country. So, it's starting now, but within the next week, all the different colors will be on it, and it'll be really nice. All right, let's get down. Greens and regulations, no doubt. I hit a bunch. I even chipped one in. Chipped one in for a bird. How about that? All righty. Matt, ferrule install tips at 370 for a 370 shaft simply won't go on. Use hot water or hosel brush or clever tricks on the ferrule. Okay. So we'll use this guy just to example. All right, so let's say this guy's 370 and this is 370, of which it is. And it just doesn't want to go on. All right. So there are things called ferrule installers, and they're basically a hollow tube that you hit and you tap it on. I have never used one of those. All right. I take this and I get it on the end, and then I use the actual hosel and I push down in order to get the proper hosel depth, because they all vary within slight fractions of each other, right? Just slight. Not a bunch, but enough. And this guarantees that it's the right length always. All right, so it doesn't want to go on. What do? You can do one of a few things. The easiest and one I use most of the time is I will get it just barely started on here, and I will virtually hit it with my butane torch for 5 seconds, 5 and 5 only. And that's enough to get it going, and normally it slides right on. I have yet to have a problem with that. Now, here as of late, those BB and F ferrules that are like, this long, right? Those have been problematic. And the inside of those guys are not 370. And so what I've had to do in the past is I take a drill bit, a 3/8 drill bit, and very slowly drill through it, right? It shouldn't take, if it's close, it shouldn't take too much. It just ought to be, you're basically warbling it out so that it just taking the excess in case there's a ferrule booger on the inside or whatever in order to get out. But you have to go really, really slow because those rings at the top are glued onto the top and you could bust them off very easily. So you need to go really slow. And that's always been my way. But those are my 2 tricks. 5 seconds with the butane torch or a 3/8 inch drill very slowly. And that would be true even of a solid one. I would take my time with it because you don't want it to get hooked up and off center, and then next thing you know, you got a big oval in the top. And that's where we're going to go at. Well, look who's joined us. Pooey, what's up, buddy? Finally had a chance to watch one of these again, playing a lot lately, trying to get the handicap down. Not broke 90 before, last 3 months, 87, 87, 82. Good job, dude. But you hit the ball so daggone far. Well, awesome. I mean, hey, not bad. A rainy northeast Missouri, huh? I didn't know they were raining. Well, no, there was some rain out there. Okay. Stay dry. Dave Brzezowski, go blue. Yeah, whatever. Go blue. Just because they played backyard ball for the last minute and a half and stripped the daggone thing. Almost got beat. But that's the reason why they're undefeated. All right, Matt's coming down. Matt. I'm getting an idea, Matt. I'm getting an idea for when you're coming down. You wouldn't be coming down on a Monday, would you? I'm waiting for Robin to look around and see. All right. See, Kurt's already talking. Very good. Lombard. What are you saying, Jack? How you doing, buddy? I've talked to some guys a little further north of you in Canada, and they say the fall is on them and the snow is coming. Woo. Patrick, I like the picture, man. 24-hour slats. Uh-oh. Hey, what's up? I have a recoil 760 ES shaft with a 370 tip. I wanted to put in a Cleveland head that has a 355 hosel. Is it okay to sand down the tip to fit? Yes. You're probably people are rolling over in their graves, but the answer is yes. Now you want to be careful, right? And it's only the first 3/8 that you really have to worry about. Okay. It's going to be like this. Take that first 3/8 and get it caved in, and then slender it back from there and see how it works out. But don't be very patient with this. Take off a little bit, do a test fit. Take a little bit off, do another test fit. Take a little bit off until it finally gets in there. You want this thing pressing in there as much as you possibly can. You don't want it wiggling around. Yes, welcome back, buddy. There's Russell. Finally got to you in the beginning instead at the end. How are you, sir? Hopefully all things are going well. All right, any suggestions for a forgiving driving iron? Tried building a 714 AP1. Oh, no. No. With a graphite tenside blue. The tenside blue is pretty nice. CHC9, but could I get it in the D2, D3? Yeah, you'd probably have to. Well, let's see, 9, 1, 2. You'd probably have to put about 6 grams in the hosel, but you could get away with it. But driving irons, I think, are becoming a thing. All right, they're becoming a thing. More people are offering them. Wilson has some that I think fit the bill, to be sure. Mizuno, they like using their HMB as that particular thing, and it's okay, but it's not a specific driving iron. I believe Strixon has one, and I believe Callaway either has one or has one coming out. Okay, when we're talking driving irons, those are specific categories, not just taking a 3 iron and cranking it to a 2 and calling it even. Most driving irons have a little extra wide sole, have maybe a little bit more offset in them than, say, a regular iron. And because it's longer, right, you need a little help bringing it around. And then it has a forgiving design. Most of them they'll look like a blade, but they're actually hollow bodies, which are basically cavities with a cap on them. And you weren't wrong with trying the hybrid shaft. I do tend to dig on those as well because the head is kind of heavy. I have recently found out that Graphite Design actually has a driving iron shaft. That's kind of unique, but that is what that is. So if you go looking around at actual driving irons, right? Actual driving irons. Oh no, wait, Mizuno does have one now. So I would check the new Mizuno. I would check the Wilson one because the Wilson one is no joke. It does actually go. And then I would look at Callaway. Those are the ones that I'm familiar with. Okay. It's not saying the other ones aren't bad or good. I just don't know much about the other ones. Yep. Not necessarily, Patrick. Not necessarily. I would prefer to bore the hosel as well. For me, that's what I do. I have sanded down the tip, and I should have been a little more specific. And we talked about this one in the last podcast, in that certain graphite shafts you can sand down and certain ones you cannot. The very, very lightweight ones, that have very, very large centers, no, you can't. And exactly what Patrick's talking about. And yes, they will fail because there's no more wall. All right. There are other ones out there that have very, very small centers. What I mean by centers is the openings. And those you can, and recoil is one of those. Okay. It has a lot of reinforcement at the tip, and you should be able to pull that away to the point. I've asked that very question of them, and they told me yes. Now, that's not true of all of them, just like I said. So you have to be very, very careful. So if you have a large opening, no. If you have a very small opening, then yes. There you go. Little giant putter. Nice. How about that guy, right? He's been around. He's been around. He's hanging. I don't think he likes scotch as much as I do, but he's hanging. Oh, there's Krister. Rainy and cold. Well, you're about due, aren't you? You're getting into that. You're getting into the cold jacket weather now. Are you indoors from now on, or is there still a chance of you getting outside? The blue one is pretty. Are we talking about this guy? It is. It's a nice blue. I think that's what I'm seeing, if you're seeing on the screen what I'm seeing on the screen, that's pretty much how it looks. That's a good coloring. And then the red one is more like a hot rod red, right? Yeah, like that, like you see on a car, a hot rod. Actually, I was Charles. The I was impressed with them. I really thought I very first one I tested was the red regular, and I thought, here we go. If this thing is boardy, I'm giving it up. And it did exactly what a regular flex does for me. And I'm just like this. So I'm closing it down and hitting it low and the whole 9 yards, which is kind of counter. When you think you're going to hit this thing high, and no, you tend to close this club and it goes shut and it goes to my inside, and it did. And then I said, well, we'll just get the stiff one of that same caliber. And what happens? Well, I went from the inside a little bit more straighter, and the pattern got way tighter, which again, when you go to stiffer, we thought that's what we do. Then I went to the blue one. I was going to go to the blue S, but the screw for the head busted in it, and so I had to change tips. So I just jumped right to the X-Flex, and the X-Flex actually performed very, very well. Not nearly as harsh as one would think. I was really, really, really impressed with it. They all just feel really good. That was the thing with the hazardous platform. I always thought the hazardous platform were for these guys that were just absolute brutes. Well, I went back and looked, and they've got one that launches high, one that launches mid, one that launches low, red, yellow, and black, or yellow, red, and black, as the case may be. And they were starting to show up in stuff like the Cleveland launcher type mode. And I hit that thing, and it felt good. I hit the crud out of it, actually. And so it made me want to go look at the other ones that they have. And now they have the smoke lineup, and the smoke lineup, they say, is a softer version of that same flight, and they're not wrong. And those we find in the Callaway things. And they're really not a bad shaft. And so now you get these two guys. One's probably off the yellow, which I would say is the higher launching, and the other one's built off the black. And I think they both really do good. And for the fact that you're not going to pay a whole lot for them, that's saying something. And the last part is, I think I don't know if they're doing it a favor just for us or not, but again, these are things that are only going to be available via the PFCs. So you're going to have to look one of those guys up. Jim Lee, how are you, sir? Any experience with Fuji Pro 115 Tour Spec iron shaft or Mitsubishi MMT 105s? Do you have any steel shaft comparisons? Well, I do have I'm pretty good with the MMT, but not so much the Fuji 115 Tour Spec. But if Fuji's got a 115 Tour Spec, and it truly is 115, the thing is going to be a board, right? It's going to be. The MMT is a stout shaft at 105 as well. I'm thinking. You might look at, and from a steel perspective, right? If you're looking in that same lighter weight steel, 105, 115, right? You might look at the KBS Tour in the 105. That would be my suggestion. The one now, there is a 115 in Nippon that's coming out. It's not out there yet, but it's coming out, and that would be another one more closer to the 115 profile versus the 105 profile. If you had the 115 profile is going to be a little more stout than, say, the 120s. They're a little more aggressive. Where in the KBS 105 is going to be just like the 120, just lighter. Why not? Actually, that's what we talk about here, Patrick. You get to see who shot what. Managed to finish one over after 36 holes yesterday. Too much golf in one day. Dude, that's pretty. Hey, you're at like Matt Revlock kind of stuff. All right. 78, buddy. 78, not 88. But the other guy breaking 80, yeah. He got through there. That's awesome. Yep. Do I think it's worth the money to buy a shaft profiler machine for spining or just spine and flow manually? I'm nowhere near renting an SST Pure. Yeah. How about that? 75 grand? No. If you were doing it for a lot of folks and you had a pretty high volume shop and it was included in everything that you did, yeah, maybe. But there is something in between. Personally, I'm spine and flow manually, and again, it's bang for buck. However, there is another machine out there offered by Golf Mechanics, and the Golf Mechanic machine is only in the. Let me think about this one for a moment. It's only in the couple thousand, and much more. It's much easier on the wallet, and it does quite a bit. And it could help you do that profiling. It does the strain, where it's got a piece in the middle where you can profile and find the middle and do all that stuff all in one thing. So it's not as, in the puring machine, excuse me, in the puring machine, you hook it in and you turn it on, you let it go and you walk away and you come back and it's done. In this one, it's more hands-on. That's where you're paying for it. So, but you can do it. But in the other way, for me, I am manual. Doing a CF next year for a new irons. Thinking combo set Hanma TR20 and Krister over here. Hanma it's over here, but it's not very big. They've asked me for carrying their irons, and I just didn't see I didn't see what I would need. So the whatever the P, the V, and the B mean, I don't know. But combo setting I am all about. And your game as far as that goes. Again, in most cases, from what I've seen for you, is if you're for the way that you tend to hold on as you go through. So I would say that you could get away with a slightly wider sole at the top with a minimal amount of offset. And then in the middle is where your money's going to be made, in that you're going to need good ball striking. So slightly smaller and keeping that amount, just a slight amount of offset. And then into the bottom ones where you can play them more like blades. And that's where I would go with them, if that's what that means. We'll take them both, man. What's your take on? Greg Carter wants to know, what's my take on one length shafts and the irons? The physics, the methodology, and the theory behind it is extraordinarily sound. All right, extraordinarily sound. Who doesn't like the idea of one swing? That's it. And you just get a club and off it goes. And you're in the same stance, the most comfortable stance, each and every time, right? I think that's great. Now, the thing with one length is that there's two things with one length. Two things. Number one is that from all reports is that the 5 doesn't go as far as a normal 5. Personally, I believe that is because the golfer is trying too hard because they know the club is shorter. If you were to take your normal swing, I think that you would get the exact same result. The other end of it is that the pitching wedges go too far. And I think it's just the opposite, and just that they're so comfortable because it is taller that they're making very smooth swings and making extraordinarily good contact. So it could go either way. Now, that's the one thing. The second one thing is that golfers are very, very traditional in nature. So if you are considering it, you need to get your mind right. And what I mean by that is being a traditionalist, just what I was talking about. Everybody I've made one length irons have done the research, have committed to the trial, and have decided that that's what they want to do. And each and every time, these guys have shot very, very good scores. Now, I had one that came through and was kind of one of these. Well, maybe, maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to try it. We'll see. And he was second guessing himself through the entire evolution. And that's the part you just can't do. And once he was doing that, every excuse, well, they're one length irons. I made this bad shot. Oh, it's a one length iron. Oh, I did this bad. Oh, it was a one length iron. As opposed to, well, if I would have hit it like I was supposed to, it would have flown better. That kind of stuff. So the answer is yes. I do think it's a good idea. And I think no, it's not for everybody, but it can be for a lot. To the point, I've got a set in the shop that I've got to make. But and that was upon request. Now, when people come in here and they go through a fitting and they show an interest in it, I have a 6 and a 9 iron that I put them through a test. And if they pass the test, then I will recommend it. If they do not pass the test, then I do not. And then they go from there. All right. Great as well. Jim Swift for me, transform and play the game. All right. I don't know, dude. There's always one. I don't know who that one person is, but there's always one person. I have no idea who it is. I wish I could get in there and see, but I can't see any of the likes or dislikes. I don't know if they probably get in there and just hit it just so they can go off. The funny part is, Krister, is that the funny part is, whether it's bad or good, I still get the credit for somebody leaving a notification. So whether they know it or not, they are still helping me by leaving the unlike. Although it's not, I don't get 100% in the likes, but it's funny, to an extent. Gabriel Cobian, what's up, bud? Where did I learn club fitting? A bunch of different places. I started out. I started out at GolfWorks. They had a 1 week club fitting, club repair class, and then I went with the Professional Clubmaker Society when they were still out. Had classes that actually taught it to the point where I was actually teaching them. And then the International Clubmakers Guild, which is still out there, has a forum of which you can ask questions and that kind of stuff. And then I've taken classes from different manufacturers of product, like Rifle. When Rifle was still available, they had a Rifle class. That was completely eye-opening, and how shafts work and that kind of stuff. And just keep building on and on and on and on. Plus, always obtaining references. The Big Red Book, which is the club making Bible. They also have a couple of fitting books out there, that kind of thing. So it's a never-ending cycle of learning. How about that for politically correct, huh? Never-ending cycle of learning. I think I'm going to keep that one. But that's where we start. That's how you start, Gabriel. Yeah, I was asking the shoulder thing, right? Uh-oh. Yeah, you do. Might have to stop with those drills, man. I don't know about so much as to buy wholesale shafts and grips per se, Gabriel. But what happens is if you were to get started in the business per se, when you establish accounts, then that's when things start. We started off with GolfWorks, and when we made to a certain level, then we ended up into different programs. Same thing with buying from other shaft and head manufacturers. Brendan, how are you, buddy? It's been a while. Hopefully everything's good over there. Yeah, but you got to watch your practice partner. Just watch it so you don't hurt it or aggravate it anymore. Oh, here we go. So I've sold the Apex Utility Club a month now using the 21 Pro 23 degree, and have to say best choice I've made in the club in a long time. There you go. Oh yeah, the you went from the UT to the Pro hybrid. That thing is scary long, isn't it? That thing is scary long. There's something about the way that thing connects with the club. It just goes. But good choice. And up in the area where you're playing, I bet that's very utilitarian as well. Ryan Hewitt, how are you, sir? From a cold and wet Scotland. Sorry to hear that. Quick question regarding shafts. He plays off a 4, looking to go low after the winter. Currently rocking the S300 2 temper shafts. Would heading towards the X100 help? Ryan, again, not to be a total crud when I say this, but it depends. Now we'll talk about that for a minute. Am I saying Glenn Morangi right? That's one of the things. I always get the names wrong. All right, so would it help? Um, so a couple of things, Ryan. In order for you to keep going further, making the handicap go that way, number one, you need to ensure that you have the right length, right? You need to have the right length of club, and that club means consistency as far as the right length goes. So now when you can generate the right consistency, then you can find a lot out about the club that you need. Now, if you're controlling the S300s well, then going to X100s may only allow you to hit them a little bit lower, which in Scotland is probably not a bad idea, unless you're in the north end of Scotland. However, you may pay for it in shorter distances, which also is not what we're looking for. You want to maximize both. Once you have the right length, then you want to check out the right lie angle, and that's interacting with the turf. And over there, interacting with the turf is very, very important because of all the, undulation that can occur in a lot of the golf courses. And then once you've got that, if you're finding the middle and you can interact with the turf, then it becomes, are you getting your shot shape correctly? Are you playing army golf, i.e. one left, one right, one in the middle, one left, it's all over the map. Then yeah, you're going to have to go up. But if you're finding your way into a nice tight pattern, probably not, right? You might find that you might look at a different profile of a shaft in that same weight class. Charles is all over it. Distance control. So there you go, right? Ryan, that's what we were talking about. Right length, right lie, find the middle of the face. That's distance control. Okay. And then you're good to go. Now, if you're playing, let's just say you're playing regular players irons. Okay, regular players irons, meaning something along the lines of a forged club like a Mizuno JPX 921 Tour, or a Wilson CB, or the the ZX 7, where they're not as strong, and you're throwing the 7 iron out. Well, your 150-yard club is somewhere around your 9 iron, then yeah, you're probably in the X100 range. If it's your 9 iron or your 8 iron, then probably not. Okay, hopefully that one helps you out. Now there is a I recommend him highly. There's a guy in Scotland is probably one of the best fitters that I know, and he is in Scotland. Give me a moment. I know his name, but the name of his business is different. I know this is kind of weird, but I want to get this right. There we go. It's SGGT. SGGT. His name is Scott Gorley, and he has a setup over there that's unlike anything I've ever seen, and he's very, very good. And the man can play golf. If you have the opportunity and you really, really want to go low, I would go see that man. It shouldn't be a bad drive unless you're just extraordinarily out of the way, but worth the trip. And tell him I sent you. He and I we played Berwick, North Berwick, and oh my gosh, he can hit the ball. All right, everybody's from Scotland. Here's Dave. Can't wait to see the new shaft video. Still game, a handcrafted even flow blue shaft evenly. Yeah. So the blue even flow is really a nice shaft, right? It's a nice shaft. And from what I've seen, there is a even flow is being kind of taken over by Riptide a little bit, and there's a couple of new Riptides coming out. So we should be seeing a lot of new information on that. Gotta get to the top here. Oh, here we go. I'm getting the note here. All right. Charles, yeah, with my Achilles heel, thinking I'm great on Max Fly. Oh, okay, nice. PXG putters are actually kind of nice. I've only had 1 or 2 in here. I mean, they're not like going to be Scotty soft or anything, but I like the look of them. I like they have all these different shapes, but they still look simple in their address. Past my prime, Soggy Central, Illinois. Glad you mentioned BB ferrules and drilling them out. I've been drilling and reaming them out. No, dude. I tell you what, the first couple. In fact, I bent one. I bent one like this. I had to pull her back out. It was bad. All right. Oh yeah. No, Pat. Steel shaft. No. We don't sand the steel shafts. You're right. You would be 100% correct. What's my opinion on Apollo shafts? I know they're cheap. Yes, they are. And I've heard good things from some golfers. What do you think of them? They're cheap. They're cheap. History lesson, Dave. Apollo shafts, when they first started out, they are actually quite a nice little shaft. They just got left in the dust because they didn't improve with time. Now they are they're what I would call, I wouldn't say they're bad. The most proper way I believe to classify them would be as they're a budget shaft. They have the tapering profile that they have on them, I think works, right? They do have some of the combo flexes. I'm not a fan of combo flexes just because that just allows for too much variance. However, in certain cases it can work. And again, it depends, right? But it is, from a budget shaft point of view, yeah, it works. They're pretty good. Tobester I'm still out of the country, California. Oh my God. We can golf all year, unlike you guys in America. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Jared Walters, hey neighbor. Played 18 this weekend, had to battle back from 9 on the first hole. Woo, a 9. Yahoo. Where was that at? Not not how you want to start a round. Great to be out there swinging though. Yeah, we had a couple. So Jared, we had a couple of good days here, right? I guess it's not supposed to get wet until the end of the week. So we should be pretty good. I'd take advantage of every bit of that. The hazardous.
It's in Canada for Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, is okay.
That's where he played.
Oh, that's where you. Okay, so Mrs. McGolf is hooking me up with your location. Hazardous Hill and the M2 driver. What do you think, man? Is it worth it? Camilio Bogota, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you can make it in. Camilio has a question regarding Patterson ballistic shafts. Are they for gorillas or someone with a good speed and moderate tempo? Yes, they are. Typically, I would say that a fiber wound shaft is for somebody that is very, very aggressive. However, what the gentleman that owns this one has changed some of the way that the profiling and the way that they put it, the way that the windings go on. Okay. And yeah, a guy that has a layer speed and a moderate tempo would actually very much like them. Very much so. Canadian just got back. There you go. You can tell them it's all that quality practice that you've had. Retired 43, what do you say? I'm digging that. I just like that image you got there. You're still missing the canister, though. Well, there you go. Look at that. Look at just exactly what I was telling you. Forgiven, players, iron blades. Yes, I agree completely, Krister. Every bit. All right, half. And the other question, actually, I blew up Sim 1 that my kids gave me on Father's Day that was properly fitted. TM sent me a warranty Sim 2 with an RDX Smoke Blue. Well, the RDX Smoke Blue is no joke, Camilio. It's very one that could be used quite a bit. The RDX in the way that it's put together is also very special, and that the RDX stands for the stuff that they use in it. Yeah, but it's a good shaft. It's not something to be trifled with. Or do I switch shafts? Not sure. I will like that. I think the Sim 2 is a bit lower spinner for a heavier shaft, moderate tempo. So I would try it first, right? I would give it a shot because not every shaft works in every head. Even though you may like that one particular shaft, and you get it into a different shaft that the mechanics in it's a little bit different, it may work differently. Okay. And that's what you really have to look. But give it a shot. Give it a shot. I have brought a second-hand gap wedge to complete my set of Cobra Forge Tech irons. I need to put my shaft in it. Cobra states the bore side is universal. What is universal? What is better to use? I would go with the 370. The only time, David, I've ever known Cobra to use anything taper tipped, it would be something that would be near their players' irons, okay? And the very high end, like the stuff that would go with their bladed stuff. There you go. Their other stuff, anything that's the Forged Tech irons right here, the Tech, I would imagine that they are pretty much 370. Now, come on, Dave. It's got its place. You just got to be prepared for it. That's about it. When you come to Ireland, I'd like to hook up with a few games in Dublin or wherever you're staying. Well, I tell you what, bud. As soon as this COVID thing is ran its course, Mrs. McGolf and I are planning a trip, and because I'm here to tell you, we like it over there. We like it in Ireland. We like it in Scotland, both. And this time we're going to take a bit longer trip, and we're going to go to both. I think we need to go to the northern part of Ireland. I know that if you're in Dublin, that you get like that, but go there and then go across the water into Scotland to go see some more stuff that I didn't get to see the last time we were in there. And but yeah, when we do, I will certainly let you know. We're getting close. We're getting close. All right, Ron. Any time frames on the Mizuno's 223, 225? When do you expect them? February. That was from Mrs. McGolf. And we've already got orders already in. We tried. I mean, the only thing that's brand spanky new that's coming out from Mizuno is coming anywhere near is this month, and that is the T22 Wedges, and I think not all of them are going to be available. And the ST2 or STG2, no, STG. And you're seeing that on YouTube. People are talking about it being a low spinner. Well, the other two are low spinners as well. But yeah, that one's a little bit more adjustable. As a fellow lefty golfer, but right-handed and everything else, you better believe it. Well, I'm lefty all over the place. Jimbo Earnhardt, can you give a little detail on your 6-9 iron test with a one length? My local has both in Forge Tech one length. So, Jimbo, what I do is I give them a 6 iron, I give them a 9 iron, and I let them hit them. I don't even tell them what I'm giving, just here, hit them. And if you can't generate about, I'm going to say 27 to 30 yards difference between the two of them because your 3 clubs different, you ought to be in that 30-ish range, but swing speed does take into account. That's the reason why I say about 27. If you can't get above that, then your mind's not right. Okay, your mind's just not right. And in order to make that happen. Now, if you do, all day, we will talk about it all day. But that's what I'm talking about. If you can create the distance, then you should be good to go. Ah, okay. Well, you're a better ball striker than most, buddy. Any non-true offset irons? Krister, that's a tough one. You asked me that one last time when you were looking at those other clubs. As close as I can come to a 0 offset would be in a bladed something, right? I even have to look. In the Wilson blade, maybe. The in the Mizuno blade, again, maybe. I think there might be a millimeter in there. But as far as going straight down, that'd be a tough one. Yeah. Pontificates. That's where we got to go, right? Okay, guys, I got to get down here. Oh, Bob and Penny are on. Good deal. Here we go. A couple more, and then we're done. Oh, we'll go back to this one. She reminded me today, Bob, we are good to go. Playing for saving the Tatas. All right. All right, Jim, Dynamic Gold S300s or C tapers for lower ball flight. C taper. There's no question. C taper all the way. All right. Get that. Mick King of golfing knowledge. That's Bones back there. He's the man. All righty, here we go. Jack played KBS one step today for the first time. Putts feel great. That is a neat little shaft, isn't it? It's big and it gets the small. I like it. It's pretty cool. I do like that one. Oh, Nick asked a question. Last one, guys, right here. Nick Page. Ooh, I like that one. Wildlife photography? That is cool. I like that. I like the rig. Will refinishing an iron change the feel or performance? If you are refinishing it in the same fashion, it should not. All right. When they talk about refinishing, we normally talk about chrome stuff. And when they do that, you have to take off the chrome, and then there's typically an underlisting, and then you have to make sure all the stuff is perfect, and then you got to pile it back on in order to make it work. And normally, no. And matter of fact, and when you're doing this chroming, it typically feels better. Now, if you're talking about just a satin type finish and you go to remove it, there might be just a hair weight removal, but I don't think it would be noticeable. And does it change the feel? In this particular instance, I would have to say yes, but not discernible. It probably changes it to the harder in order for that coating to last a little bit longer. And then that's it. Now, if you're going to get them finished in black, that's that PVD finish, and yeah, that's going to feel different. All right, the MP20s, and yeah, because there's a copper listing underneath of that, and that's what provides that softness. If that does not go back on, they're going to feel harder. Hopefully that works. All righty. All right, guys, I went beyond it. It's 15 minutes. Mrs. McGolf is giving me it's time. It is time. Again, thanks, guys, all the way from, Scotland, Sweden, all over the U.S., Canada. Man, it's great. Again, I thank you for the questions, and we're going to do this again. We'll do this again next Monday. So as always, guys, let's see your scores. Go low.